Hello, my friends. All right, today we're going to join seams. I know a lot of you stress about this, and I started doing this back in the days, the garment days. So I've seen a few bags. I know the Harlequins one, and what I'm going to show you here is actually an example from the Pelican tote, where you have two darts, and most people start at the top of a seam and then work their way down and just hope and pray that this corner, these seams, these darts line up. Some of you think, oh yeah, you don't see it because it's at the bottom, but some of us do. And this is a technique I've used for years, and I thought it'll help you. So what I've done here is I've sewn the dart. What I do is I mark it and I clip little tiny clips at this end, match them, sew them. Same with the other side. And then what we're going to do is first we're going to connect. This is probably the most important part, actually. And you all got this part, I'm sure, already. Connect where those lines are, where the seams actually, and they kind of nest in place. Let them nest. And I've clipped them back. You could clip them even more severely, but since I'm on an industrial, if you have a domestic, you want to clip it all the way back, okay? To take the bulk out. And you see how nicely this nests up in here. Take this one way and then the other way, all right? So then what I do is I set my stitch length at a baste. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go in and you're gonna baste this area that you wanna match first, just inside the seam allowance, about 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch. You don't want to go back in, let's just say the seam allowance is 1/2 inch, okay? You don't want to stitch it at 1/4 of an inch because that leaves too much play between where you basted and the seam allowance. So if the seam allowance is 1/2 inch, I'm going to go in at probably 3/8 of an inch, and I'm gonna baste this. Okay, so here we go. I am going to, and I start pretty close to where it is I'm crossing over the seam, just because you don't need to, again, you want to be as close to the intersection as you can, just because you don't want that much play. Now I'm going to remove the clip. And of course, already you can see what happens. That wants to shift. See, so this already that dart wanted to move back. So I went ahead and re-clipped it, rematch. You can see how easily it wants to move. So we're gonna take this here. And this is the wonderful thing. So if you have it on a basting stitch, do not backstitch. Get started. Do not backstitch. If you screw up here, and you're inside the seam allowance, you can easily take it out and then stop. That's it. You just want to hold that intersection. And if you screwed up, you take it out and you do it again until you get it right. So this looks pretty good, actually. Yeah. That's pretty good. So then now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch the rest of it. Turn. I'm not going to backstitch here just because I'm going to show you, but normally we would backstitch, and here it is. So this is a sharp corner, but I didn't mean for it to be. So it lines up perfectly. Hope you can see it. So that's my trick. And I've done it where it didn't line up, and all I did was take out that basting stitch, and since it's inside the seam allowance, then you don't see it. So that's my trick. And how's that for a pretty fast and easy method? There you go. So I'm going to add a little extra onto this video since it was a short video, and I want to share an experience that I have going on, and it kind of ties into other things in life. 5 months ago, I'm looking at it right here, I bought a Cameo 4, and I've really learned a lot about myself through this machine. Let's just say that I haven't quite put it to use yet. When I bought it, it wasn't compatible with the computer that I had. I figured out through a process of elimination and bought a new computer. And I was going to do zipper overlays and tassels and some kind of fun stuff because I thought it'd be most efficient to do it that way. And I ended up, I had to get the new computer. Then from there, I discovered that I had to upgrade the Cameo 4 software to design software because then I could put SVG files into it. But I didn't have SVG files for these pieces. So then I had to buy another software program so I could create SVG files. And I bet this is starting to sound familiar to a lot of you. So then I had to learn a new program. And I got Affinity software. And I actually bought 2 because I wasn't sure which one. And I learned how to do SVG files. And then I tried to transfer the SVG files over to my Studio Designer software. And then we were having issues with that. And then after, now let me tell you, I didn't give up through all this, but it just took a long process because in the meantime, I'm producing bags and YouTube videos. So then finally I got to the point where I was like really close to being able to cut. And I have to say that I want to shout out to Kelly Rao because she started doing it on Cricut, and that kind of spurred me on to like, okay, I'm going to tackle this again. So I got to the point where I could actually get this SVG files in the design software, and then I got to cutting, and so then I discovered, okay, this isn't working because I couldn't cut. And then I joined the, now this, we're talking in the last week, I joined the Cameo 4 group. So then I started figuring out what I was doing wrong, you know, because usually it's user error. So then I started finding out what I was doing wrong and setting up the cartridge because I have a rotary cutter. So then that all got fine, and finally I started cutting. So just in the last 24 hours, I go back to cut it again. And now I'm having issues because it wants to cut from cartridge 1 and there's none. And I have it all set up perfectly just like it cut before. So now my software is crashing. So now I suspect, of course I've contacted customer service with no response. So now I suspect there's issues with the software and I probably have to reinstall, and my computer, I gotta see if it'll even let me reinstall because there's so much security with Macs that installing third-party software is, well, Silhouette software is really a problem. So anyway, the moral of the story here is what I love about sewists in general is I really think that we have an awesome growth mindset. Very, very few times do I hear people that just say, oh, I can't do that. We have this wonderful community of helping each other. And I want to just give a shout out to everybody. And that's, you know, that's why I love Sois, is that this is not people that give up easily. We are determined. And everyone helps everyone else. And it's not very often that you see that. And we're so driven to figure things out and to learn. And we're just a special, different breed of people. And I am going to get this damn machine figured out because I want to show you, and I'm going to share, and it's going to be a video on how to do this. I'm pretty sure that I have to reinstall the program and I'll figure it out. If not, I'm buying a Cricut. But yeah, it is just amazing to me, the help in the community and how easy it is. And like I always say, it's not what, it's who. Because you can spend countless hours trying to solve problems, but when you go in and you can ask for help from people, it's just amazing. Between YouTube videos and the forums that we have, it's just amazing. So that's what I'm sharing today. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it too. Do you agree?